Alright, everybody, this will be warning to all politicians. I'm running for president 2024, part 72, I believe. And let me get rid of this. That's another thing I'll do as president. I will award Jimmy Page the world's greatest guitarist award. Won't make one up. Greatest guitarist ever award. Anyhow, following the idea with UFOs and stuff, and if there's people out there, it seems to me that would have been one of the questions that would have been asked the prophets. I have no problem at all envisioning someone saying to Jesus, Lord, tell us, are there others like us in the universe? What are the stars? Because in the Gospel of Barnabas, he described the heavens and how big they are and stuff. So, and there's allusions to the next life in the Gospels and in the Quran, in the Old Testament, and I think I'm gonna look at some more of the Krishna and other Hindu texts and see, because we've all seen those programs, Ancient Aliens, and whether or not we've been visited for thousands of years, I don't know. It'd be interesting to find out, though, and I'm sure one of the prophets would know. And then, maybe I know it's been done before, but I was thinking, I texted a friend of mine after that last one, saying, you know what? What if there are people just like us, and they just like us are just like us, and would see us as just another foe to take over, like we do nation to nation. Maybe they look at them Earthlings, let's go down there and take their shit. Never know. But we've seen movies like V, or the series back, when was it, in the 80s, late 70s or the 80s, V, and other ones, Invasion of Body Snatchers, this and that. They Live with Roddy Piper is one of my favorite movies. But what if they're not some hideous type of creature that can just camouflage itself? What if they are human beings just like us? And that would be just like us in every way. Let's go invade that other nation. Well, why not? Why wouldn't they say, let's go invade that planet, if they're just like us? And that comes a question too. The environmentalists and everything say our existence is destroying this planet. So there's a philosophical question. Like even with Mars, who we say is lifeless, what if it isn't lifeless? What if there's microscopic life? And this kind of theme has been touched on, with Avatar and stuff. We find another world, we go there, there's already life there. We're gonna kill it to take its resources. What if the human beings just like us come here and, hey, look at this, these fools don't know what they're doing, let's take it over. And they're all the rich and powerful elite of the world, and maybe they brought science, maybe they brought the doctrines of maybe they were the great generals and leaders who founded countries and stuff. Who knows? The great explorers, maybe they can't travel warp across space, like we think. Maybe it takes them hundreds of years to get here. So maybe like the first group got here thousands of years ago, and just the home planet didn't wait, too long, but maybe like every 50 years they send a ship, with a few hundred people or something in it, and takes them hundreds of years to get here. And the ship, they live and die on that ship, like a giant colony just going through space, and they live and die, and they train their kids, and when you get here, this is what you're going to do. And they have all the technology and stuff, but so they just keep sending, and maybe they've been here for thousands of years, and it's an idea. I told my friend, I'm going to write a screenplay or a movie, or maybe just a book. The theme has been done before. I mean, science fiction, and it's most movies are rehashes anymore anyway of older movies. So, but the philosophical question is, so like in Avatar, what humans do to that planet. What if this other planet of humans just comes here and does like the same thing? But anyway, the environmentalists say we're destroying everything. So there's a philosophical question. If us just existing and using materials we need to exist and is causing destruction, then why go to another planet? Won't we eventually just do that to that planet too? What if we're already, what's that, Schrodinger's cat? Just by going to Mars with our rovers, we're changing the future of that planet. Suppose we landed on one of the only microscopic life forms, crushed it out of existence. Or if we go there, we're going to have to terraform. No doubt about that. So, we're going to use materials. We're going to release toxins. We're going to, hey, what if it's a sterile environment? I mean, don't you think they would have found some kind of germ, something, a bacteria, something? I mean, and now we sent those rovers up there. For all we know, our germs, our bacteria or whatever traveled with, people touched. Well, I know they put them together in clean rooms, but who knows? Maybe they did on purpose. Maybe they had somebody blow a bunch of boogers out their nose and put them in a petri dish, and that rover up there just, let them out. See what happens. Hey, I got an idea. Let's get a bunch of snot, put it in a dish, and we'll toss that out there on the surface of Mars to see what happens. I don't know. It's late. I'm just throwing goofy stuff out there. So at least you'll have a president with a sense of humor. But I don't know. I've never looked at the missions and stuff and studied what kind of tests they're doing, but I don't see why they wouldn't have sent some kind of microbial life or a sprout or something, see what happens. But if we do go, eventually we're going to terraform. We're going to change it. Suppose we find a planet, that's livable for us, but it's all vegetation and covered with millions and, we'll say trillions of rabbits. We're going to be killing off a lot of rabbits. We go up there and live there, or some other type of creature that we deem less than us. So there's the philosophical question, because there's a lot of environmentalists who are also very nerdy, if you want, about space and space exploration. So there's a question they got to answer to themselves. What are the ethics and philosophical questions that we need to answer before we go traipsing across the galaxy and disturbing things? It's gonna be like Star Trek, the what was that? The prime directive, can't interfere with stuff. I say if we find a planet somewhere and we send a rover and it sees some type of beings walking around, I think if we ever get there ourselves, we're not going to hang back and not go down and check it out, introduce ourselves. So it's just a thought I had. Why nothing in mainstream religion? I mean, for a long time, Christianity, was, flat earth. There's nothing else out there. There's no heliocentric. And I looked into flat earth stuff, and I'll tell you, there's a lot of things. They show you a lot of photographs. I was definitely thinking, it looks flat to me, man. Maybe they lied about everything, and then the whole, the NASA cover-ups and stuff, and the videos they show of, saying we didn't go to the moon. So if I'm president, I'll find out about all that stuff. If the moon landing was a hoax, I'll let you know. I promise you. I will let you know if the moon landings were a hoax. But, just, when you think about the writings from the prophets and stuff, when you look at, like, the Hindu scriptures go back 10,000 years or more. Judeo-Christian are 6,000, 7,000 now. Mainstream Christianity for a long time, it's, God, the heavens and the earth and us, and that was it. But even now, Christianity's, with science and stuff, they'll blend the two and say, it's intelligent design, and it is intelligent design. And the verse in the Quran says the universe was infinitely harder for God to create than we were. And that you look at us, our bodies and the way everything works, and the, genomes and all the microscopic things we're finding out about ourselves and stuff, and it's just absolutely phenomenal. It's amazing. And how our brains work and everything, and just absolutely amazing. And the universe was infinitely harder for God to create than we were. There's a verse in the Quran. So of course, then everything is intelligent design, but then you also look, you have asteroids hitting stuff, and it seems like there's a lot of chaos out there too, where things are just going on their own, from what NASA and other science tells us. There were planets crashing into each other and all types of stuff, and things going on. But if you believe in God, if he's like, well, that one's got to go, and this one, then we'll put these asteroids out there, people will mine them someday or something. Who knows? But it is grand design, but then there are aspects of it that just look like totally out of control. Why would you have suns going, supernova, and why would you have all these other things? But just like all things decay, this life, this realm, everything in this physical realm passes away. In the physical realm, everything passes away. So either when we die, we go into a total non-physical realm, or there's another physical realm that's just better than this one. So have to look at the writings of Baha'u'llah and the Bab on those things too. I started looking at some of it, and it's really quite interesting from what I can gather off of YouTube. And for those Baha'i out there who say, you know, what's this guy doing talking about our faith and stuff? I believe your faith. I believe Baha'u'llah. I consider myself a Baha'i. I tried contacting, when coronavirus was first starting, tried contacting a local Baha'i and stuff to get the books I need and to learn what I need to do to be a better Baha'i believer and practices. So I've you know, been eating a lot more vegetarian and learning what I can, and I know my conduct and my language and stuff at times is not proper, and I apologize for that. And you know, maybe it's not not ethical. What's the word? Because I know there's a lot of people believe in a lot of faiths, and when they're talking about their faith, they're very proper in this and that. Then in their personal life, they're like everyday average people, you know. I've never believed in putting on any kind of show or pretense for anything. That's why when I look at like popes and things like that and everything, and it's like, come on, man, you're just a human being like the rest of us. You know, it's the same with, you know, like ultra rich snooty people who look down their noses at other people because of their station in life or because of their race or whatever. And same with politicians and kings. I believe you got to give certain people some respect because of their station, a little bit, but you know, some of it I think is pomp and circumstance, people fooling themselves, thinking they're somehow holier than thou or somehow higher up, you know. So especially when it comes to like preachers and stuff, you can go on YouTube and see a lot of stuff, you know, a preacher caught messing with, you know, somebody in the church's you know, wife or daughter or something, you know, just all, and it's like, come on, man, how many kids got to get molested before you realize these priests are no, you know, they don't deserve the extra, you know, you don't have to cut them extra slack because they're a priest, and you know, this is all man-made junk. You know, the pompous or pompeity, is that a word? Of it all. You know, who are you fooling? You know, oh, the guy's molested all, but he's a priest. Oh, well, wait a minute. Come on, man. What the hell are you talking about? You know, so what do you mean you got to cut him some slack? You can't throw him in prison. You're gonna hide him and move him somewhere else. You know, it's just ridiculous, a lot of the stuff, you know, and that's like celebrities, you know, rock stars and this and that. Oh, you should listen to them people. Why? Also, somebody becomes a celebrity, all of a sudden they are, you know, their insight is, oh, it's golden. What are the Kardashians saying this week? What is, you know, Snoop Dogg have to say? What is, you know, whoever, you know, which I think is laughable, the late night shows that Ernie and Funny, every dialogue, every monologue is nothing but about Trump. It's like, if somebody ought to calculate how many times the word Trump is said on these late night shows since he started running for election. Let's do that. You know, late night, later, whatever these shows are called now. I mean, just you know, they got rid of they got rid of all the good guys. Jimmy Fallon was all right. He started out. Now he's even been towing the line there and going along with what he's, it's like they did to Kevin Hart, Yeah, we'll run you out of the business. You won't do the Oscars because what you said. It's like, really? If I was Kevin Hart, I would have been like, screw you. I don't need you people. He can do shows around the world and people still go and see him. I wouldn't cow down to them sons of bitches. But, it's just the pomp and circumstance of, it's all a show. What'd Shakespeare say? All the world's a stage. Everybody's an actor somehow, some way. It's like, well, we gotta go along with, look at this system we've set up and all the pomp and circumstance of these people here, and just a lot of it's pretty amazing. Yeah, we need people who think, intellects, this and that and everything, but I don't believe just because somebody's got a collar on or because somebody's been in a movie or this and that, you got to automatically give them some credence, or because they're in Congress, or even like Trump. I think he's done a lot of good things and bringing jobs back and this and that, and he politicians are politicians, whether they say, how do you know when they're lying, their lips are moving. So if he's been having to go down that route, even though I really think he's more independent, because he's pissed off a lot of Republicans. And I think that's the whole thing. They haven't come out and support him enough because he's been messing with, a lot of people's money, You're going to pull troops from here or there. You're going to stop this, all the war hawks, all the people who invest in the defense industries, and they don't like that. They do not like that stuff. That costs them money. So he's been pissing in too many people's cornflakes, man. He's just... But hey, if we got to get back, we need to get back to what's real, And like I started to say, we need to move forward. We need to focus on... We need to go forward. The world has gone on the way it has now for thousands of years. It's time we change our whole perspective. And like as I referred to the Baha'i Faith, and it talks about us being one humanity. In the Quran, it says, we were once all one community. It doesn't mean we have to give up our cultures. Asians don't have to give up their Asian cultures and their beliefs, and we don't have to give up ours and our founding principles. And we got people in this country right now who want to change. We don't have to get rid of the founding fathers and stuff, and destroy what America is. And we don't have to do that to Russia or Mexico or any culture's heritage or anything like that. We just got to learn to live in peace with each other and treat each other equally. That doesn't mean, let you in the country and give you welfare and all this other stuff and call you a minority. We got to get rid of these tags. Honest to God. And that's one of the things I was thinking, if people came from another world and they're out to do us in, maybe they're the cause for all the wars and stuff. They got themselves, they came thousands of years ago, and just, we'll have our secret society, our Illuminati, whatever, and we'll rule over these people, and we'll have them go to war for us and make us rich and all this stuff while we're waiting for more of us to get here. And then the final assault will come 10,000 years in the future or whatever. I'm just throwing that out there. But sometimes I look at all the division that they cause in these things. Like I say, the pomp and circumstance. All of a sudden, because you're black or you're Mexican or something, you have special status now. Ain't supposed to be equality. You've had this minority thing and all this which just used to mean numbers and about having representation in the government. Well, you've got representation in the government. But this whole idea that, a guy from Mexico is a guy from Mexico until he crosses the border, and now he's a minority. He was equal with me until he stepped over that border. Now he's a minority and he needs help. If we're all equal, like we believe we are, we keep being told, hey, we're all equal. There's no master race and, white supremacy and this and that. And I believe that. So if that's the case, then what's the problem? You say it's a systemic racism. I'm sorry, I don't see it. I see racist people from time to time, but I don't see to where, you might go for a job someplace and there might be one racist asshole taking the applications or something, and if you believe you're not getting a job because of racism or something, you turn them in, whatever. It's probably not, the business owners or the corporation's policy. That would be kind of a systemic thing, and banks don't give a damn what color your skin is. They look at your credit and if you paid your bills and stuff like that. So, I think this is the last gasp by the Democratic Party, and they got to try and cause as much racial division and stuff and put out as much illusion as they can. Because I think we're at the point in this country, we don't need these tags anymore, minorities, these special groups and stuff and everything. All the special legislation and stuff, I think can disappear. Because as long as you apply yourself and you work and you don't waste your money and you try to better yourself and it might not be. Look at me, I drive a truck. I've been driving a truck for the last 30 years. I hope my son, always told my son, use his head, get a job for the future, work towards that education-wise and stuff, that I didn't want him to be a truck driver. And I told him, I said, there's no matter what job a person does in life, I don't care if they're a dishwasher in a restaurant, whatever, they're digging ditches, it has worth, it has meaning. Nobody should ever be ashamed of, what they do for a living. If you're an honest person, that's what counts. If you have charity, you're an honest person, do your best to love your neighbor and stuff and live by the laws of the land, then, there's no shame in no matter what your occupation is. But I told my son it'd be a lot better to make your money with your mind than it would be, by busting your balls and breaking a sweat every day. I mean, that's why I do flatbed instead of a box trailer, like one of those. I like being outside. I don't mind sweating. I think it's good for you. So I can't say I always feel that way. There's times I feel, man, I wish I had a set of doors to shut in the wintertime when you're freezing and the wind's blowing and your tarps are frozen and no one's around and going to give you a hand, and it's just taking you forever to get stuff done, and you're freezing, and the summertime can be that way too. You're down in Laredo and it's 105 degrees and 150,000% humidity, and you just, or Houston or Miami or somewhere, what I'm saying, or even in the desert in Arizona, you're without the humidity, you just, it'll take it out of you, I'll tell you that. A lot more the older I get. It'll kick your ass. So, but anyhow, I think it's the last grasp. I think we're getting to the point now to where we can look at each other as equals and this and that, because most people get along. It's only if they pay too much attention to politics or the news and stuff like this, and they go left or right or they're shown stuff to incite racial hatred in them and stuff. You know, it's like that brings out the worst of us, and that's why I think, you know, Black Lives Matter and all this and everything might have started out trying to have something good to say, but when they started screaming about, you know, kill cops and this and that, and all these demonstrations turning ugly, and the whole, and you got black supremacy out there, and Farrakhan, and, you know, Whitey's the enemy, and this and that, and the black Israelites are going, oh, we're going to enslave the whites, and this. I think there's people behind a lot of this stuff. I think we have to have a big time discussion about it. You need to get Farrakhan and these Israelites black Israelites on the spot and say, look, you guys ain't saying anything different than Hitler or the Ku Klux Klan. It's 2020. Let's all move forward from this shit, all right? We don't have to swap spit with each other. There's some things that people will call you racist on just because you object to, you know, character of a person or something, but or who you'd like to associate that, you know, in the socioeconomic class or this or that has nothing to do with racism. And so it's like when a white girl turns down a black guy asking her out or something, automatically she's a racist. Isn't she a free human being? Can't she choose who she wants to have a relationship with? You understand? It's not all racism. All right. Wish you all the best out there. We'll go over more of these things later on. God bless. Wish you all the best. Adios.